From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
I'm kind of just keep scratching my head, how much more creative can I be? Because the cost of things keep going up.
A pause in SNAP food stamps as soon as the day after tomorrow. What a billing service is doing to help families now on day 30 of the government shutdown.
Just having that sense of representation is huge.
Making roads safer, how a project to improve Lockwood sidewalks is nearing the finish line.
Halloween is just it's my personal Christmas.
And taking Ghostly to the next level. We're taking a haunting look at this year's spooky Halloween decorations and the creative families behind them. Those stories and much more coming up in the next hour. Spooky stories. Excited for that. So one of them is on Zimmerman, and the other one, yes, in the Heights, I believe.
Yeah, I know there's a house that I go by once in a while when I go up and do weather schools up in the Heights, and they go all out.
Yeah, they've done incredible.
It's great. Yeah,
and I know everyone's wanting to know how the weather's going to be tomorrow.
It's going to be dry.
Okay.
The sky should be mainly clear. It's going to be chilly, though. You know, we haven't been that bad the last couple of years, but it will be chilly this year. We're looking at temperatures, we'll just say here in Billings, low 40s to start, upper 30s by the time we wrap up. But we'll have a look at that Halloween forecast for you coming up later on this hour. But all systems go. Just be sure to dress accordingly because it will be chilly this year. Let's take a look at step back in time. Yesterday, we were almost 10 degrees above the norm. We're going to be about seasonal today and then cooler tomorrow. We're behind a cold front. We had a top gust yesterday of 37 miles an hour. Still somewhat breezy out there. Western foothills seeing some stronger winds this morning, and that will migrate over to our east. As that front continues to pull off to the east, it's taking that wind with it, so definitely could see some gusty winds across the eastern portions of the state. It was a dry day yesterday. We do have a cold front that's going to be coming through on Sunday, but like the one that passed through yesterday, it's going to be dry. There's not going to be much moisture really attached to it. Only light accumulation, maybe Sunday night, maybe a little bit of mountain snow, but that should be about it. But we're still pacing ahead for the month and for the year in terms of our moisture totals. Temperatures this morning, just quickly, a few spots, Miles City at 36. We got 32 in Roundup, Hardin at 35, 28 in Red Lodge, 34 in Livingston, 28 in Cody right now. Right at the freezing mark in Sheridan, we're sitting at 32. 37 right now here in Billings as we get up at the airport. 30 is what it feels like. Winds out of the west at about 9 miles an hour. A lot of sunshine today. By lunchtime, be around 50. By the time we head home today, in the mid 50s. So pretty seasonal with our temperatures today. Tomorrow going to be cooler as that cooler air sinks in. Maybe some areas to our east struggling to get out of the 30s. And then we'll see some 50s and 60s across the weekend. Tell you more about that. And we will take a look at that preliminary Halloween trick-or-treating forecast for you coming up here in just a bit.
Sounds great. Thanks, Miller.
Boo.
And this morning, with a day standing between now and November 1st, Democrats on Capitol Hill are sounding the alarm about SNAP food assistance benefits not going out on Saturday. The government shutdown is entering day 30. Now, Congress previously approved more than $5 billion for a contingency fund to keep the SNAP program going, but the Trump administration says it will not tap into that reserve. It's a decision that will affect tens of millions of Americans. More than 24 states are now suing to force the administration to fund the program.
Doing this on purpose. It is deliberate. It is intentional. They have the funds. They're just not using them.
President Trump was asked about SNAP benefits during his trip to Asia and insisted they would, in his words, get it done, but not until the government is reopened. The Congressional Budget Office now estimates the shutdown may have already cost the economy up to $7 billion. And now one Billings woman is speaking out, concerned with the future of her family and how she'll feed her children without the adequate funds. As our Charlie Kleps reports, it's a very real fear, but one that a local nonprofit hopes to solve.
I want to do right by my kids.
For single mother Liliana Munn, nothing is more important than family.
I want to give them the best opportunities that I can.
But providing for her 2 children comes with sacrifices.
I actually work 3 jobs right now.
Heavy hours keeping her busy and oftentimes hungry.
Didn't eat a whole lot 2 weeks ago because I was trying to make sure I scraped up the last bit of what we had. Trying to just make sure we had enough for my kids to eat.
But most importantly, taking time away from her children.
I try to, and I try to make time for it, but it's just really hard.
Munn's life depends heavily on government-funded programs like food stamps.
Oh, you see I'm worried? Yeah.
An option that won't be available soon.
I got a letter in the mail saying the state of Montana is not issuing benefits next month, and I was devastated. I was already budgeting, and now I have to budget even harder.
That letter, part of the nearly month-long government shutdown, a time riddled with uncertainty.
This is a federal program, and we need the federal government to fund it.
On Tuesday, more concerns as Governor Greg Gianforte explained Montana won't help temporarily fund the program.
Without any promise of reimbursement, there's really no way for the state of Montana to do that.
It feels like I pulled myself by my bootstraps so much that they're breaking.
But at Billings Family Service, there is hope.
So we can see the increase. We know we'll see an increase, but we're committed to helping our community.
Executive Director Ryan Kramer says his organization is trying to help fill plates.
If the government shuts down and they're not going to take care of individuals in need, that we have to be the people who are doing that, and we'll make sure that we feed everybody in Billings.
Kramer says so far the response from the community is huge, as is the norm around the holidays.
The nice thing is that's when our community really does come together because they really want to support those in need.
Donations appreciated by parents like Munn, who remain dedicated to what's most important.
I want to do just as well as other parents, and I want to try as hard as I can for my kids.
In Billings, Charlie Kleps, MTN News.
Charlie, thank you. And in continuing coverage this morning, a Billings teenager accused of beating a man to death in the Heights will be tried as an adult. Judge Jessica Fair delivered that ruling against Bryce Blackburn, citing his extreme violence and lack of judgment. Blackburn was just 17 in June of 2024 when he allegedly killed 55-year-old Dennis Osborne. Our David J. reports.
Bryce Blackburn will be tried for deliberate homicide in Yellowstone County District Court and not youth court.
I think it was a good decision. I think she's seen everything in the case that she needed to, and that the case needed to stay in district court.
Jamie Osborne's husband Dennis was killed on June 6, 2024. Bryce Blackburn was 17 years and 348 days old on that day when he allegedly beat the 55-year-old Osborne to death.
If you're connected to a homicide in any way, there shouldn't be a question if it should be sent back to youth court. You want to commit a crime that heinous, you need to be held accountable for it.
Jamie Osborne has been told by attorneys that if the case went to youth court, a conviction could result in a sentence of 2 years probation.
That was a huge concern for our family, is that if it actually did get transferred back to youth court, that there would be really no consequences.
Judge Jessica Fair stated the court is concerned by the high level of violence displayed in this case and the total lack of judgment exhibited by Blackburn. The judge goes on to state Blackburn, by his own admission, punched Osborne at least 4 times in the head, even as he fell to the ground. Witnesses say there could have been as many as 6 punches and several kicks to Osborne's body.
Very emotional experience for our family, to hear some of the things,
Fair also states that Blackburn requires at a minimum a significant period of supervision to ensure community protection and compliance with the law. And she wrote, a youth court disposition would not give Blackburn the time or resources necessary for rehabilitation.
We talked with Bryce Blackburn's attorney, James Revis, on the phone. He did not want to do an on-camera interview, but instead asked us to use the message that he left and use it as his full statement.
A transfer hearing is only a preliminary proceeding in a complex criminal case. No jury trial has yet occurred, and my young client is innocent of the charge brought against him. We will litigate this case in the courtroom, not in the press.
But Jamie Osborne says the evidence says otherwise.
Hopefully justice prevails and there is a long sentence and he's held accountable for his actions.
In Billings, David J., MTN News.
David, thank you. And a new trial date will be set on November 12th. Well, the Montana Rescue Mission has gotten about 20 applications so far to fill the role of executive director. The position has been open since mid-September, when now former executive director Matt Lundgren was removed by the board. Board members still are not telling MTN News why that decision was made. This job posting has a salary of $100,000 less than what Lundgren was being paid. Board member Eric Peterson says the difference is because Lundgren was in charge of the capital improvement project, which was similar to having a second job. Now, Lundgren was on a 90-day sabbatical when he was notified of the board's decision to move in a different direction. Our efforts to talk to Lundgren have been unsuccessful. Meanwhile, the nonprofit's addiction counselor and social worker also remains on paid administrative leave since early October. Now, that came after allegations of sexual assault from one of the employees. Peterson says that investigation is still ongoing. A new project in Lockwood is almost finished, designed to make the community safer for walkers, bikers, and people with disabilities. The Lockwood Sidewalk project would add 2,200 feet of sidewalks south of Old Hardin Road. Now, crews say the goal is to create a safer, continuous path between Woodland Road and Riken Circle. Residents say it's a welcome change for anyone who gets around on foot or on wheels. As our Matt Carmack reports, the work is motivated after 2 tragedies continue to be fresh on the minds of many in the community.
Keeping the community safe.
So there's definitely a need for it.
That's the main goal of this $174,000 project.
So their main focus first was the schools. Started with an unfortunate fatality that happened because there wasn't sidewalk in place.
The Lockwood Safety Pedestrian District began after the unfortunate deaths of 14-year-old Jared Dean and 16-year-old Dustin Freeze, both teens killed due to the lack of Lockwood sidewalks.
You know, overall enhanced safety for everybody, both the drivers and the pedestrians that are out within the right-of-ways.
Logan McIsaac, the Yellowstone County project manager, is working on a project that's personal to him.
You know, I'm excited about this project. I've got two young girls that will be walking to school someday, and just hope that they have the same opportunity for safe routes to school.
Before the Lockwood Sidewalk project began, Old Hardin Road was missing 2,000 feet of sidewalk, which may be an inconvenience for most, but for wheelchair users and people with visual impairments, getting from one side of Lockwood to the other was a greater challenge.
Not having that sidewalk creates a really dangerous scenario because they have to just go right along with traffic, I assume, or in the grass, which is also a dangerous area for people.
Garrett Birch is the program director for Eagle Mountain Billings. It's an organization that provides adaptive recreational activities for people with disabilities. Garrett tells me that out of their 700 participants, a handful use wheelchairs or are visually impaired.
Some of our participants ride their bike to every program, and that can be dangerous as well if they don't have a place designated for them to ride.
And the difference a sidewalk can make for his participants is profound.
Just having that sense of representation is huge.
Any new project, whether it's federal, state, local, all needs to meet the Americans with Disabilities Act.
The project will also add tactile paving for the visually impaired.
They're getting the gravel prepped and base ready for the addition of the final stretch of sidewalk, and that's to be poured with this portion of the project.
The project is set to finish this fall, and it's one that Garrett and Logan are looking forward to seeing.
I think it's awesome. I think it's awesome that people are getting their voices out and the community's hearing them.
Just a reminder that these are your friends and family, your neighbors, moms, dads, kids, grandparents that are working out here. So
in Lockwood, Matt Carmack, MTN News.
Matt, great story. Thank you. Well, an age-old grain is helping to fuel food sovereignty in the Rocky Boy Reservation. Now, recently, tribal and ag leaders came together to celebrate a new venture that has tribal health in mind. MTN's Tim McGonigal has more on this not-so-run-of-the-mill operation in this morning's Montana Ag Report.
A project almost a decade in the making is providing food sovereignty on the Rocky Boys Reservation.
It's the ability to take care of our own people with food.
1, 2, 3.
The tribe recently cut the ribbon on a new flour mill. Overcoming challenges including COVID, they're milling locally grown Kamut wheat, an ancient grain legendary farmer Bob Quinn made famous on his farm near Big Sandy almost 40 years ago.
It's all organic, and they mill it into flour, and now they're supplying neighboring tribes at Fort Belknap.
Ultimately, the hope is to have these bags of organically produced flour lining the shelves of stores and bakeries, not only here on the Rocky Boys Reservation, but at communities across Montana.
Somehow we need to get back to that space.
Tribal leaders are also hopeful the mill will put members on a path to better health.
What does diabetes cost the tribes in terms of medicals and then treatments and medicines? Why not put some of that money into the prevention side, and let's eat healthier.
Imagine if we could pay the farmers a little more for growing better food and then save a lot more on health care by being well instead of being sick.
The mill is the latest food sovereignty step. With more than $30,000 in grant money lined up, a bakery might not be far behind.
We've already got orders. We didn't even make any bread yet, but we've already got people wanting orders, so it feels good.
I'm so proud of you guys for investing into your future, into your kids.
State ag leaders call the project a great example of value-added agriculture.
We have the farmer here that's growing the grain. We have the mill here that's milling the grain. We have them working on creating the flour that's going to create the bread. That is value added.
With the operation based on campus, the tribe is cultivating the next generation of entrepreneurs and ag leaders.
We want to build a whole curriculum around food. We want to build a whole curriculum around the Kamut, the agriculture industry, to grow our own foods here.
Near Box Elder on the Rocky Boys Reservation, Tim McGonigal, MTN News.